Hello everybody. Today it's a follow-up discussion with Neil Claasens from Sectional Title Solutions regarding water infrastructure, water backup solutions. And Neil, thank you. Thank you again for meeting with me. And so touching on our discussion last time was the water infrastructure failings in a lot of the municipalities and the solutions that Sectional Title Solutions have come up with in terms of providing backup water solutions and then water storage. All good and well. Now we've gone through the process, compliance requirements, permits. How are we paying for all of this? So can we touch on that?
Yes, thanks so much, Arthur. It's an absolute pleasure engaging with you again. I think that this is such an important point and consideration for all owners in gated community schemes. So, in terms of funding projects, most certainly, that is our core offering. We've been providing funding to gated communities for well over 20 years now. And through that, we would apply the same model to our community scheme clients, depending on the project that they're considering, whether it be an upfront full installation or they're doing it in a phased approach. We've got very flexible and affordable funding that will talk to each of those models. The intention is really here is to bring these solutions to the foreground, but also make them very affordable that they can be implemented immediately. So funding is very possible. It can be on a fixed term or on a variable term, in whereby we can use different funding mechanisms to assist the community scheme in ensuring they can afford this beautiful, much needed solution.
Thank you. Yes, money is always a problem, especially in schemes, because very often the utilities is a huge expense for them. A lot of the schemes don't have separate water meters, and it's all a part of the levy calculation. Unfortunately, how it works is the bigger units are charged more for water consumption, whereas if they're metered properly and metered separately, it would have been a different matter completely. So water, sewer, electricity, all of those utility costs, that really places a burden on a lot of the individual owners and the schemes as a whole. So that's where the water backup and then the funding and the financing of that water backup solution would really help our community schemes.
Absolutely, and I think to talk to that point, Arthur, doing our due diligence, during this sort of early days of water management, we looked at a number of community schemes. We looked at schemes of 10 units, we looked at schemes over 1,000 units, and we looked at schemes sort of in the middle of that, around 500 units. And the single commonality across all of those schemes is effluent and utilities are their biggest cost for every gated community. It is almost half of their operational expenses every month goes towards paying local incumbents, be it electricity or water. So for us, not only did this make very obvious sense that if we can assist community schemes by reducing that exposure and those costs, I think just to couple with that, post 2016, owners within sectional title have been burdened with additional costs that weren't around prior to 2016. So as these costs continue to be put on these owners, it is of paramount urgency and importance from our side to bring solutions to the table. And that is really why we've coupled it with our funding. But when we look at it holistically, over and above the driving of costs, we must look at the health implications and benefits that having clean, pure water will bring. And I think that is so important as well. Our water from local incumbents, very full of chemicals. There are a number of issues in terms of water clarity. And I don't think that our municipalities have always been very honest with us in terms of the quality of water.
That's crucial, absolutely. But can you and I discussed it last time, we talked compliance. Remember we said in a sectional title scheme, you would require a special resolution because it's a reasonably necessary improvement. However, because of the funding provided, you would need an additional special resolution clause, allowing the scheme to obtain that funding. That would go hand in hand. If the scheme would have money to fund this installation on their own, different story, that would be a standard special resolution. But because you're obtaining funding, or you're providing funding from Sectional Title Solutions, you would require an additional clause in terms of a special resolution.
Absolutely. So I think really to highlight the three key points, the members at a general meeting, I've always encouraged a general meeting rather than a round robin resolution. I think a meeting has a lot more value where people can freely ask their questions without objecting first. So a general meeting is our preference, and yes, a special resolution. However, the owners must discuss and decide on a service provider. That's the first decision that gets made. After that, then the members must decide on the solution that has been put forward. Is this going to meet our needs? And for that, a special resolution is required as well. Thirdly, if the scheme does require funding, part thereof or in full, we would then require an additional special resolution that would appoint ourselves as the preferred funder for that project. So that really be the three best ways to tackle the approval process. Should the schemes not require funds and have their own reserve funds, this would be really optional for them. We really supply the funding for schemes that don't necessarily have the reserve funds and maintenance budgets in place. Again, really, the funding is not mandatory. That is really up to the client.
Thank you, Neil. And okay, so let's summarize this. The benefits.
Yes.
You've got a water backup solution. You've physically got water storage on the site. In the event that there's water disruptions in the municipality, there's water, either just to at least service the common property, or people may be able to draw some of that water in the storage dependent on the size of this whole system. So water storage and backup is a given.
That's correct.
But not only that, you said the water quality. So the water quality is an improvement there as well. So it's not just the storage, but the water quality in itself is a benefit to the owners.
More so than the others. Sorry, Arthur, but that is something I'm really excited about. I think to give you an example, we did a site survey at one of our recent installations in the East Rand, and we were given the opportunity to go out and see the handover between the client and our installation partner, and they did a sampler test for us. I can't tell you how I've left feeling that site survey was really just to see what comes out of our taps versus what has come out of a purification process, what they looked like and what they tasted like. And I think that in its own will most certainly act as a motivation for people that are concerned about their health, that are worried about what is happening with the water. That would be a definite deciding factor in when looking at this solution.
And then finally, there's saving elements in this as well. I mean, if you draw water from the water table through a borehole, your water consumption in the community scheme immediately reduces as well, resulting in a saving to that scheme or that individual owner as well. Some of the municipalities still give a 6 kiloliters water free per month.
Yeah.
So essentially you could, if you've got the water additional supply, you could actually come in under that 6 kiloliters and thereby, there's a saving in addition.
Arthur, let me give you some scary insights here. This is the reason why I'm so passionate and excited about this particular solution. Over and above the various solutions we offer, is that where in terms of electricity, schemes that elect efficient energy solutions with solar panels and batteries, they've been given a savings that ranges anything from 5% to, let's say, 45% of their council expenditure can be reduced as a result of electing a private electricity provider. In water, I'm glad you're sitting down. In water, it can be as much as 80%, 80, in schemes where we are able to install multiple boreholes that will be not only to service common property, but actually go through a filtration system, go into the scheme's existing watering, into their taps within their homes. You're looking at significant savings. So there is just really benefits all around here. The cons is the basic short-term disruption during the installation. And other than that, not only do you have a redundancy in place, as we've highlighted several times, the water quality is great. You're also sitting in a position where you're future-proofing your scheme from a desirability perspective. You're increasing the rentability and sellability within your investment within that scheme. It's going to be desired, it's going to be sought after. People want to buy or rent in community schemes where this infrastructure is already installed.
Thank you, Neil. It sounds like a no-brainer to me. Thank you again for taking the time and talking to us about this. I can't wait for the next solution that you guys will come up with. But thank you again, and we look forward to our next discussion.
Thank you for your time, Arthur.
Thank you.
Thank you.